This World Cup Quarterfinals picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBet. WynnBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBet has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, and get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
I'm wearing my alternate USA kit right here.
Oh, you're wearing the camo.
I'm taking credit. USA is taking credit for camouflage.
Okay,
I mean, you got the hat on, I got the jacket on.
Salute to the troops.
Well, now that we're out of this friendly sporting competition, let's get real.
Well, that's a great question, Ryan. As a true American, fellow red-blooded American, who are you rooting for now that America's knocked out?
Well, angle one would be you root for the Dutch because they're the ones who beat us.
Okay.
That's bullshit. It's all narrative. Let Messi get it. Let Messi have an easy argument over Ronaldo, who seems to be a giant piece of shit. Even his fake smiles and celebration on the as he was a substitute for Portugal seemed fake. And I don't know. Just let Messi get it. Let Messi finish his career with a World Cup.
I did give out Argentina as my winner, so I'm still rooting for them. But I got no beef with England.
Amsterdam's a fun city, though.
Certainly going to be rooting for England over France coming up Saturday morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Very.
The French came to our aid. I don't know about the English.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of wars you gotta learn about. And
well, what do you mean?
England. Well, I mean,
the one that got us our freedom.
Do you want to talk about World War II? You want to talk about how the French surrendered? You want to talk about how when we were coming into North Africa, the French act to liberate the French and to destroy the Nazis and to go after the Desert Fox himself, that the French attacked our ships?
Yes. General, yeah. I mean, look, I think the French have been soft in the past. So have the English.
All right, enough messing around. Let's talk about some World Cup soccer picks. Hey, if you're betting on the World Cup or any soccer, you gotta head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBet. $100 bet gets you $100 in free bets. It doesn't get any easier. And again, spin that parlay wheel. Get down some NFL, some NBA, sweet player props. You can build your own bet. You can build your own bet for the World Cup as well. That is so fun to do. And again, you guys know where to go. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBet.com. Must be 21 or older. And present in the state where playthrough WynnBet is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Joining us.
We need longer band marching music.
Yeah, the fife can only go for so long. Joining us on the line, he is the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, Mr. Billi Bhatti. Billy, thanks for coming on the show. What did we get right from last episode? I feel like the Morocco pick was one of our big hits, right?
Yeah, I think I got pretty much everything right except for I got too convinced by you guys. I tried to be popular. I tried to be popular and start the show up. I thought, it's the first game. I don't want people to turn the video off and not pick the US. So I got that one wrong because I thought the USA had a shot at least making it close, and I thought it'd be a tight game that would go under and whatnot. So yeah, the under on that. And USA making that close, I was wrong about the first half under as well. But yeah, everything else pretty much went as planned because only one underdog got through, and I think that was the big underdog that I liked. And if people think at the top of the show these guys are talking nonsense, I use colonization in my capping as a reason as to why Morocco would play hard. So
no,
there's no angles. There's no bullshit angles here at all.
No, I mean, again, there is that Moroccan team seemed like they played with a little chip on their shoulder.
Almost like they were colonized by the Spanish.
Well, also when it gets to penalty kicks, who knows? But I think we were all in the same angle.
A couple highlights.
Spain just felt so overrated coming into that.
Things that we gave out. I'm also going to give you a couple things that people thanked me for. We didn't give out, but we inspired them. One, we said France, England, Brazil, Argentina, all to advance. It was -125. As Malcolm would say, found a bag of money on the floor. That hit. The Morocco play +285 to advance. We also discussed parlaying it with the under, because if they were going to get through, they were going to get through with an under. You're welcome. Boy, that advanced parlay with Japan came very close, but shout out to the guy who went and decided to parlay that Japan and Morocco will both make it to penalty kicks. Which I think paid out something crazy like 50 to 1. I don't think he ever sent me the screenshot in, but he was bragging about it. And lastly, shout out to me for only sprinkling a little on the U.S. to win in penalties, because I knew it was coming. In this office, I had a conversation with friend of the program, Ryan Connor, who is a huge Dutch fan. And I looked at him square in the eye and said, we have no chance, right? He said no.
And he even threw in, I go, oh, we kept it close. He goes, oh no, that's just like, if you were going to score, they would have changed their strategy and really dominated. So he was really down on the American team. But next World Cup is our World Cup, right, Billy?
Yeah, it's a big World Cup. I think there's 106 teams. 106 games, sorry. So they're gonna play they're trying to add an extra 40 games to it to make it even longer. So yeah, I mean, like anybody and everybody's going to be able to get to that one. So you're going to have every type of person roaming around USA. It's USA, Canada, and Mexico. You're all sharing it together.
This is very American of us. We're expanding a playoff, Sean.
Exactly. It's like we got to get the March Madness up to 90 teams. All right, Billy, let's get to the picks. First up, kicking off 7 a.m. Pacific, Croatia, Brazil. Brazil, obviously the big favorite, -270. Draw is set at +405, and Croatia +800. Croatia, of course, made it all the way to last World Cup final before losing. Do they have a magical run in them, or is Brazil just set to dominate here?
Yeah, this is a really difficult task for Croatia, because when countries like this get to this point, it's difficult for them to set up differently stylistically, because we saw the World Cup final against France. That could have been a very different game if Croatia could do, or if it was in their DNA to do what Morocco did, which is to set up defensively. As a country, as a footballing nation, they'll never do that. If you look back at all of the play, going way back to like Davor Suker and people like that played for him, it's all attackers that come through this team. And the likes of Modric, Perisic, these type of players, they're not going to be involved in a team that's set up with a defensive mindset. So they come to play, and ultimately, when they played that World Cup final against France, the skill level of the France team was above them. And I see a similar type of game here. Hard to really make a pick on it. You could take Brazil, would maybe tackle an over to it, because I do think once the first goal scored, it can be very, very open. But I expect it to be open anyway, just because of the way Croatia played. Brazil's kryptonite, Argentina's kryptonite, France's kryptonite. All of these teams are going to, like the same as Spain, they're going to struggle when they come up against a defensive block. My prediction on Morocco is based on the fact that Spain didn't have enough quality to break it down. The other three teams that I mentioned do have. And in this particular game, it's a bad matchup. Like Croatia just aren't going to do that. They're going to try and play the Croatian way, and the Brazilians will play the Brazilian way, and Brazilian are better personnel-wise. So it's simple, really, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard not to like Brazil here. I think it's just, what else are we tying to it? Are we taking Brazil in 90? Are we taking both teams to score?
Brazil and both teams to score is +230.
Oh, okay. What do you think about that, Billy? Like any thoughts on the sides, the total, some of these props here?
Yeah, I think so sometimes in these instances when a team is chasing the game, which is what Croatia might do if Brazil score the first goal, I prefer just taking the over 2.5. It's a little bit more juiced, but it cashes. It's the same as both teams to score, except you only need the goals. The goals can come from one team.
Yeah.
So whilst Croatia start pressing and completely releasing the handbrake, not that they're going to start with the handbrake totally on anyway, then it leaves them susceptible to more goals. We saw a big difference that we saw in the Brazil's round of 16 game was Serbia and Switzerland and Cameroon. They all played Brazil with this defensive low block, and it took Brazil a lot of time to break them down. Korea didn't do that. Korea came out, they played them like man for man, and they were 4-0 down. So that's what they'll do. If you give them space and you try and play Brazil like Brazil, they'll tear you to pieces. And Korea are not as good as Croatia, but I see a similar type of scoreline here. So I just prefer just to err on the side of caution and take the over, just in case Croatia are leaving all the gaps for Brazil to keep scoring. So that would be the only change I would make.
All right. So a couple of things. If you take Brazil with over 2.5.
Yeah, I have that in my win build a bet right here.
So that's going to pay you plus 142.
Oh wait, so I did Brazil in 90.
Oh, interesting. I just did a parlay.
Okay.
I just did a straight parlay. Maybe.
All right, so yeah, plus 140. That's sweet.
But if you parlay it with over 1.5, it's minus 140, which almost feels like a lock of all locks. Minus 140 is a little steep, but
and they have to win in 90.
This is
right?
in 90, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it gives you a Brazilian win, and it gives you every scoreline possible except 1-0, which I don't see being the score.
Yeah. All right. I think that's what I would lock in. So Brazil in 90 parlayed with over 1.5, Sean. Minus 140. Nice and easy. Also, last show, and I would assume we'll continue this, but last show, Billy suggested the mechanical parlay of Argentina and Brazil until they face each other. So we're sitting on a nice stack of cash right now. We're letting it all ride. First game on Brazil to advance.
Yes.
What is the advance price?
I'll have to look that up because
minus 800 possibly.
It's got to be pretty juicy. If they're minus 270 and 90, but they were minus the draw.
Yeah, they were minus I think 1,000 last game. I'll pull it up, but I think we're confident we don't need the advance. We'll just parlay the 90.
It'll be around about minus 800 if the correlation of like prices to money line is correct. That sounds about right.
It's only actually minus 650 to advance.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's really not that bad.
All of it.
It's a pretty good price.
Mortgage payment.
Let's go. All right, right. What do we got up here next? The second game kicking off 11 a.m. Friday Pacific time. Netherlands versus Argentina. Argentina plus 125 to win in 90. Draw plus 220. Netherlands plus 260. And then if you want just to advance, Argentina's minus 160. Netherlands plus 135. Again, I am a soccer square, but I'm dialed in here. Argentina to advance at minus 160. I'm fine laying that juice for this Argentina team. Am I missing anything, Billy? Do you think the Netherlands are a live dog? What's your take?
Yeah. When I was working this out and doing my futures, I had Argentina to win the group. I had Argentina to reach the semi-final, which was the lock I gave out on the first show that we did, that future. And I liked Argentina to win the tournament. The game I didn't want to see them play was this one.
Really?
Just because I'd much rather have the US been here. Not just, it's better for the podcast as well, and it's also better for it's just better for the futures bet that I laid. This is just because Argentina don't like playing Holland. They haven't beat them in the World Cup since 1978, which was a World Cup final. So, and the Dutch have only lost one of their last 9 clashes with Argentina, and that was the 78 final. South American side Argentina, they've been beaten by European opposition in their last 9 exits from the World Cup. Holland come into this having not lost in their 19 games since Louis van Gaal returned as a manager. Last time this dude was a manager, he ended up getting the Manchester United job because he got Holland to the World Cup semi-final, and they didn't lose that tournament. They exited the tournament on penalties to Argentina. So there's a revenge angle as well. There's everything you don't want when you're betting. There's revenge. There's statistical data that goes against the play. I mean, the other side of it is that this is a very corrupt World Cup, and Messi getting as far as he can is good. So VAR decisions and things like that may favor us. Brazil, Argentina is the biggest game in world football, and I don't think this tournament wants to be robbed of it. And then also the potential Ronaldo-Messi final still looms in the air if Ronaldo doesn't take his diapers and go home before it gets to that point. I mean, he's not even in a team anymore, so that I think that angle is reduced. But yeah, I think the whole world wants Argentina to go through here, and that's what helps us. But the data and everything else doesn't. So I didn't want to see this team here. I also didn't want to see them saving their best performance for the US, because quite clearly they played those group games in a lower gear. And when the US came around, they stepped it up. I mean, it partially down to, I saw some like nervous play there from the US in terms of their positioning and whatnot. It was a bit of a headless chicken display in terms of chasing the ball around, leaving gaps that they didn't leave in the other games. That didn't help. But at the same time, like Argentina looked Holland looked a lot better. So yeah, this concerns me.
Wow. All right. So I was fully prepared to take Argentina as Billy instructed on the last episode, but now he has. This is all true good stuff. You'll notice, John. While Argentina didn't lose,
but the final leg is always the most hedgeable.
I know.
when you get to it.
So it you are nervous, but are you?
The revenge angle's strong though. Like the fact that the Dutch, I mean, the Dutch lost to Argentina. Not a loss. They exited due to penalty kick losing or whatever. However you phrase it, they lost Argentina last time in penalties. In the semifinal of the World Cup, Sean. We love revenge angles. It feels like we should be on the Dutch here. We also like cities that are pro whores.
I hate the odds there. It's the same manager returning at 71 years of age to be managing the team again to get the same match is very worrying.
All right.
So what is your best bet then, Billy? If you're worried about Argentina against Netherlands, is it just both teams to score? Do you like something on the total? Are you taking Netherlands plus a half goal? What's the move here? Or are you just taking them in 90?
I think Netherlands plus the half goal, because I just see a long night here for this one. I just don't see this one being decided in a 90. This gives you the Netherlands to win in 90, but it also gives you that draw, which takes it to extra time. As I said, like, this manager is unbeaten, and it would be almost a disgusting like irony if he comes out of this tournament undefeated again without winning another World Cup, because you go to 2 World Cups, you don't lose a game at either of them, and you don't win any of them, and you go out to the same team on penalties. So there is that. If it does get to penalty kicks, I do favour the Argentinians again. I've much favoured their goalkeeper. Martinez is a penalty specialist. I believe if it does get past the 90 minutes, you'll actually see Argentina, the much stronger team in the market. They will be the ones who will hold out for penalties. It won't be the Dutch. The Dutch won't want them because the Dutch and the Spanish don't have great penalty records in tournaments. So England as well. England, the Dutch, Spain, they don't want penalties. They don't want games to go to penalties. So yeah, you'll probably be seeing Holland pushing this in the extra time if it gets there.
I'm sticking with Argentina minus 160 to advance, but you make a good case for Netherlands.
You could just.
I mean, we could both win that because Netherlands half a goal at minus 140. I'm seeing if you get to any sort of extra time or penalties, you're winning, and then with the.
All right. So what final answer? What are you writing down?
For me, I'm Argentina to advance.
Minus 160.
Yes.
John, what price do you have there on Argentina on penalties? You have something plus 800 plus 900.
So it's 800 both ways in the game.
Right.
You can take the game goes to penalties for 4-1, and essentially betting both sides of it.
Yeah. All right. That's kind of a fun prop as well.
Game goes to penalties. Also, I just because of the Messi narrative, first goal. We haven't discussed first goal props.
We're normally a first touchdown.
First goal to come off a free kick. This excludes a penalty kick, but first goal to come off a free kick is 17-1 in this game.
Really?
I mean, if Messi stands over the ball just outside the 18-yard box, you want to talk about a fucking sweat?
I don't know what the 18-yard box is, Ryan.
Sorry,
but I will trust you.
Yeah. It's
perfect.
First box hit.
Now Billy's
I never
pointing
thought
to
this would be double used.
Billy. Billy has a really sweet chalkboard soccer thing going behind his background where he's got some player names. Do you draw up plays there? Do you use it for your
Colby's
handicapping?
jealous, I can tell.
We might have to get something similar for our office.
Yeah, well, I got the 2 teams for England and France up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I do kind of use it for like how the game might play out and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, this is not a chalkboard. This is my wall painted in chalk.
To clarify,
a special chalk paint. So yeah, like if you're thinking about copying it, then it's harder to do than you think. So
shout out to the Stern Show and the King of All Blacks, but that was a total flex right there. If you know, you know. Yeah, I mean, all right. So first goal to be a free kick, 70-1. Game goes to penalties, 4-1. Sean likes Argentina to advance.
Yeah, easy money
at -170. I don't mind the Holland plus a half. I like that angle. I think it like you can still win. We can still win. We can all win. And I think this game does go to extra time.
Tariq in the YouTube chat, and shout out to all the awesome YouTube. We got some ideas here. Tariq saying France Brazil to qualify at +100. He likes that.
Oh.
We also
my dad's watching me. Is he?
Oh, really? Okay.
That's my dad's name. Yeah.
We also have conference UEFA -20 versus conference and bowl or con and bowl. Do you have what do you have any
basically Europe versus
UEFA? Do you have
versus Africa or whatever?
Oh, okay. Do you have any take on like a conference prop bet, Billy, before we get to the other games?
Or South America, sorry.
I think we'll get a South American versus a European in the final. I think that it's so hard on the other side, but I think one of England or France will advance to play one of Argentina or Brazil. Sounds really chalky to say, but like, you know, if you can find an angle to bet that, I'm sure it will be I'm sure it won't be plus money. I'm sure it'll be short, but it won't be terrible. It won't be like -200, 300, anything like that. It'll be nothing crazy.
All right, we're going to get to the Saturday games. Before we do that, shout out to Dave. That's right. Dave is there to give you a helping hand. If you need just a couple extra bucks, it's the holidays. Holidays are super stressful to begin with, but then if you need a couple extra dollars, it adds to your stress. That's where Dave is here. Think of Dave as your buddy. You know, you're just a little helping hand. Your buddy Dave is going to help you out. Dave is a banking app that could get you up to $500 instantly with extra cash. With Dave, there's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. Again, more money to buy those last minute gifts, catch up on bills, whatever it is that's stressing you out financially. An extra $500 could really help you out, especially this time of year. If you're in a pinch, need a couple extra bucks, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. All you got to do is download the Dave app in the App Store right now, or go to dave.com/SGPN, DAVE.com/SGPN. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC. Morocco versus Portugal. Portugal, pretty big favorite, -150. Draw is +265. Morocco +475 to win in 90 minutes.
Can we just pause and reflect on the fact that Ronaldo got replaced? If you didn't see the game or you're not aware, but he got replaced by a guy who went out and immediately scored three goals,
which is really, I mean,
team looked really happy for him too.
I can't tell if this is rallying the Portugal team or it's going to hurt them. I mean, our handicap on fading Portugal was that Ronaldo was a cancer and his cancer was going to spread to Portugal and destroy them. But now that they basically benched Ronaldo, his replacement came in, had 3 goals, super confident. Maybe they're rallying around this new guy. Billy, what's your take on Portugal in this game against Morocco?
Exactly that. Like it's been exactly that since the first future show on their group. It was a case of, as a Manchester United supporter, as somebody whose son has met Ronaldo multiple times, who doesn't do any photos for adults though. Unlike Aaron Rodgers, who's by far the better goat.
But now, real quick, Billy. Real quick. Now you're a good dad. You go out of your way to meet these athletes and get your son's autographs and get pictures taken. But unfortunately, it does seem, and you've been keeping track of, it does seem like there is a jinx after meeting Billy in England.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is 2 and actually he's 3-7 now. No, hold on. Yeah, 3-7 because he won this week. Yeah, 3-7 straight up and against the spread. Who else did I meet? Ronaldo now couldn't get into the Manchester United team after we met him. He was then basically did an interview with Piers Morgan, and got fired from the club, and now he also can't get into the Portugal side. Who else was there? I'm sure there was more. It's just constant.
Well,
there's a long list. Of
Russell Wilson, you said you tried to meet.
He's not.
But he already jinxed himself. It seems
he's not a Hall of Famer anymore.
Yeah, he played him. He played himself out of the Hall of Fame just by
meeting
going over there.
But Russell Wilson's entourage, the people around him, didn't let him do the photo, and then he went and won the game. The next step.
So actually, the rare win after
Billy's
avoiding
picture.
Billy's
Keep Russ away from this man.
Avoid this man at all costs. All right, so Morocco, Portugal, and also obviously like your take on how this Ronaldo benching. I'm assuming Ronaldo they're going to keep on the bench for this game, right?
Definitely, I think. There's rumors out there. I don't know if they're true or not. That he said that if he didn't play, he would go home. Now they've been refuted by the Portugal camp, but they're coming from the same people that said that he wasn't going to start the game. So those rumors were also rubbished by certain people as well. Like there was Portuguese journalists and whatnot who rubbished those reports. It was actually the English media that broke the story to say that he wasn't going to play. So, and we know like the English media and the tabloids, they're vicious. They'll hide in places. They'll hack phones. Yeah. They'll hack the phones of the dead. Like they don't care. So they'll get the story. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to believe because they're saying it's not the case and he is still there. But ultimately, these people were already right before. And to say that he wasn't going to start the last game, that was a pretty big story. And unexpected at the time because this coach has been so loyal to him, despite public outcry to say that he shouldn't be playing. And the reason is that his sister can come out and Piers Morgan can come out and all these Kevin Peterson and all these Ronaldo backers can come out. He's not doing it on the pitch. It's not a personal vendetta against Cristiano Ronaldo. Statistically, teams that are not playing him do better. And Portugal are not in the Nations League final because Ronaldo missed a whole bunch of chances against Spain. Like, you can go and see them on YouTube. Ronaldo played at the Europa League, which is a much lower level than the Champions League. He started every game for Man United and scored 2 goals. Last season, Manchester United lost 2 games to Liverpool. We didn't play Ronaldo, we won. We didn't play Ronaldo against Arsenal, who have 1 defeat in the top of the league, we won. We also won against Tottenham, who are another team going for the top 4. Ronaldo didn't play in any of these games. In fact, he walked out when he realised he wasn't going to be coming on for a significant amount of time against Tottenham. So without him, Man United have had their best results, and I'm happy to see him go so that we don't have to try and shoehorn him in, manage his temperament, and manage this player who, with the wages that he was on, which was double the wages of the next highest paid person in the club, he had to get game time. At $400,000 a week, we had to play him. Now we don't. So the problem's gone. It's now Portugal's problem, and they're dealing with it exactly the same way by not playing him. And for a 21-year-old to come in and score a hat-trick and also score in the knockout stage, something that Ronaldo's never scored a single goal in a knockout stage of a World Cup. And this kid comes on and replaces him and scores 3. There's absolutely no way that you can't start him. So yeah, that's my take on that. I think everything will remain the same, but as things progress, you may see more toxicity towards this situation. I imagine we're going to see multiple shots of him and his reaction to things that happen on the pitch. I mean, I'm not expecting a lot to happen in this game. I'm expecting a type of game where Morocco set up the same way. But Spain, when you look at people that they have on the pitch, like they can bring on a Rafael, who's the guy who scored that last goal. You look at this kid who played, this Ramos, who scored the hat trick. You're looking at Bruno Fernandes having a really good tournament. They're more direct. They do keep the ball as well, but they're more direct. And I feel like they will create that moment where they open this game up. I don't think it's going to be enough for it to go over the total. I don't think it'll be over 2.5 goals. But I think within 90 minutes, within the regulation time, they will get the goal that opens the game up. Like Morocco aren't going to be able to draw a blank again here for an hour and a half again. I don't think so.
So it sounds like you like Portugal in 90 at -150. That seems like not a bad price. I mean, I'm with you. I think fading Portugal made sense early on, but now they're rallying around this new kid, and you're fading Morocco after winning their Super Bowl. I mean, if they allowed Gatorade at the World Cup, it would have been dumped all over this Moroccan team, right?
Water only, Sean. Morocco and the Portuguese do have a bit of they have a history of bumping heads in terms of countries, but just like Spain. But I'm with you. I think you have a little bit of a letdown spot. Also, I watched this Portuguese team, and I kind of was like this. If I was going to bet one future on a team to win it all that no one is betting on, like this narrative of them getting rid of Ronaldo and having this absolute fucking alpha come on the field. I mean, to me, this is the easy, like Portugal's the easiest pick. Morocco did great to get here, but this is where they go home.
Yeah. They already had a successful World Cup by getting here, right?
So we're just going to play the -150 and 90. I'm good with that.
That seems like the right way to play it.
Well, what do you get that to with under 3.5? Just because I don't see there being a change in the pattern of play.
Under 3.5,
along with the money line, yeah.
Let's see.
Because you're gonna be watching the same type of game, except I believe they'll do what Spain didn't, which is break through. That's the difference here.
All right, you said under 3.5.
Yeah,
under 3.5 with. Oh, I still have a random Derek Carr thing in here. That's weird. Portugal in the under 3.5 is gonna pay. Oh, I can't. It's not showing me the fucking price. I'll do the. It's not much though, because the under is like -400.
Yeah, so you probably add a little bit to it.
They'll drop it to like 125 maybe.
I'll keep it safe with just the -150. Last game.
Yeah, one angle we didn't talk about also is this tournament's happening very quickly. The breaks are not as big as they usually are because we're trying to get back to the domestic season, and 120 minutes of football, especially with the way that Morocco had to play, where it was all defensive, it was all running around. Spain had, I believe, somewhere in the region of 75% of the ball. I don't have it in front of me now. That's a lot of running. That's to get that to 0-0, to not have any of the ball. You run less when you have the ball, but yet the ball do the work. So Morocco were the ones chasing all shadows and working their ass off to get that to extra time. So there's no way they're going to be, have the energy reserves to do that again. So I think at some point in the second half, Portugal break through against a pretty tired team.
We love fading those defenses when they have to spend, 40 minutes on the field in an NFL game.
No, it's a good angle. Yeah, and I forgot about the compressed schedule. That makes a ton of sense. All right, last game of the slate. Here we go, big time. England versus France in 90 minutes.
Whose music is that?
England. England's +205, draws +230, France +145 to advance. England is a slight dog, only at +105. France -130. Billy, put your homerism aside. Can this England team get it done against France?
Yeah, they can. They can get it done, but it's a case of. For me, it's a case of what tactics both of these two teams deploy. Up here on my board behind, which you probably can't see the names, I've got the lineups that they went with last time. Now, I don't expect either of the two teams to change, except for one change that France could make. Here, France play a system where they have four guys essentially up top, with this guy here, Griezmann, sitting behind Olivier Giroud, with Mbappe here being the key man out on this left-hand side. So I believe that if they have any fear of England, this is the one position that they'll sacrifice with Griezmann dropping out and them going for an extra midfielder. Because by contrast, England have the three midfielders. I know it looks like here it's the same formation, but this Anton Griezmann here, he's essentially a striker or a secondary striker. Whereas England, last time they played against Senegal, they played with three very defensive-minded central midfield players. Now, I believe that England will go for the same approach. How the game plays out in terms of whether it's action-packed and both teams scoring and whatnot will depend on what France do here. Because if France decide to match England up and they go with three defensive midfielders as well, we're actually going to get a cagey game between two teams that are scoring a lot of goals. And the other thing I think that England need to do tactically, which works, first of all, this guy here, Kyle Walker, he needs to sit on Kylian Mbappe, which he's done at club level. He's done it effectively for Manchester City when they played against Paris Saint-Germain. And also another thing you need to do here is if it is Saka on this side, whether it be Saka or Rashford, so you've got Phil Foden on the left. He doesn't have pace. He's just a very skillful player, much like Grealish. But it's important on this side that we keep a pacey forward because it means that Mbappe can't solely focus on hurting England. You then draw him into a defensive mindset where he has two jobs to do. And that's important. It's important that our attacker on this side of the pitch makes Mbappe think about two responsibilities that he has, not just in terms of attacking. If England can do that, if they can shut him down because he's the key player, then essentially we have a chance of winning the game. Because when you look at these two teams and you do something that's become very popular in football, combined 11s, where if you say, okay, if I pick 11 players on this pitch, who are the best 11 players on this pitch? How many do I take from France and how many do I take from England? Honestly, you only take about 4 from France, which gives England the 7 remaining players. And that also can be done in many different ways. What clubs they play for, the ages that they are, transfer value. I mean, England's transfer values are inflated by English media. You have Declan Rice here, who the English media value at 150. I value him at about 80, but that's still significantly more than what you have here for France. Other than Tchouaméni, who plays for Real Madrid, he's done very well there. He could be a £100 million player. There's no one else in the France midfield that's there. As for Bellingham, who's been the breakout star of the tournament, when he moves next summer, he may move for around about 150 million. So whatever way you break it down, whether you look at transfer valuation, when you look at the clubs that they're playing for, the tournaments they've had, England should have more players in this combined 11. France are the favourites because France are the world champions and France have far more tournament pedigree as of late than England. They got to the 2016 Euro final. They won the 2018 World Cup. They laid an egg at the last tournament, but they only exited in penalties. So they actually ended up going out of the tournament unbeaten. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for France to be favourite, but on paper, England should be able to win this game.
I mean, I guess they've choked in the past. I will say though, Sean, we did write down. I have in my World Cup notes here that Kylian Mbappe is a little bit like Russell Wilson. Perhaps the better comp might be Russell Westbrook.
Oh, really?
Maybe he's. I mean, Billy just highlighted why England has to keep him in a situation where he's thinking about defense. I don't. I feel like Billy just completely rah-rahed me into thinking that I should bet on England here.
Yeah, well, their ability to match up with Mbappe, like you said,
but
Billy,
fuck that guy. Remember, he was one of these. He's like a Ronaldo.
Yeah,
loves himself. He's trying to get all the goals.
So
trying to get the.
So how do we bet England? Do we just take England in 90 or England to advance? To me, that's a big difference at plus 205 in regular time versus plus 105 overall to advance. What's your favorite England bet?
Well, going back to what I said we can beat them, but I don't think that we will because historically we have not beaten anybody as an underdog under this manager. Our path through to the 2018 World Cup semi-final was very, very cushy. A lot of seeding teams or high-placed, high-ranked teams dropped out along the way, and the path really opened up. England's progression through to that World Cup semi-final was a favourite in every game other than the group games of Belgium, which we lost. We even lost to Croatia as a favourite. The same thing happened at the Euros. We were a narrow favourite against Germany and a narrow favourite in the final. But ultimately, every game we won as a favourite. So I don't know if I trust this manager as an underdog. In addition to that, we've just come through the Nations League, which really isn't that important because of the way the teams approached it. But we didn't play. We played 2 games against Italy and didn't win, and we played 2 games against Germany that didn't win. So I don't like the way that this manager sets up. I believe that I can't really tell until I see the first 10 minutes of the game. But we shouldn't worry about Mbappe. We should play our own thing. We've got our Champions League players here. We've got loads of players from City, loads of players from top Premier League teams, and we need to go for it. What he does, and as I said, this always comes from having a manager who played as a defender. He will approach this by thinking about how we don't lose this game. And that's not how I want to approach this game. You're better than France on paper. Go and win the fucking game. Like, just go and win it. Like, go and win a game.
So it sounds like he has Brian Dable. He's scared to lose the game, and he's playing for a draw.
Get the fuck out of here.
That was a great pull, Ryan. You know.
No, it's a horrible pull.
So Billy, you gotta give us one bet for this game. Do we take draw in 90? You know what? I'm gonna say it. England pulls off a miracle. England plus 205 in 90 minutes. That's my play. Ryan, what do you got?
Go ahead, Billy.
I think what's the what juice do you have on the under there? Like on the, I mean, I think the juice will be on the over. To be honest,
under 2.5 minus 130, over 2.5 plus 105.
Wow, that's not great because I expected it to be the other way around. Yeah, so I still think I think it will go under. I think that both of these managers are similar in that sense. Like Deschamps will beat the weaker teams, and Southgate will manage to too. But as we come across here, I believe when you look across the pitch, there's fear of what Harry Kane can do. There's fear of Foden. There's fear of Saka. There's fear of like Bellingham. At the same time, like we're scared of Griezmann, Mbappe, Olivier Giroud's played in the Premier League. Ousmane Dembele of Barcelona's finally got some form. I think it's one of those games where we always see this in soccer. I take you back to the Champions League final of 2019. We had Paris Saint-Germain there against Bayern Munich, and the over 2.5 was like massively juiced. In fact, you had to parlay. If you parlayed the over 2.5 goals in that final with both teams to score, you were still like laying juice at around about minus 140 on both teams to score and the over 2.5. It ended up being a 1-0 game. Sometimes when these type of games happen, everybody is so scared of what everybody else has. If it does end up being Argentina and Brazil, I can see something similar in that game too. And I just feel that this is going to get the big build up, and you're going to get 2 teams that are going to go, holy shit, there's Mbappe, there's Saka, there's Kane, there's Rashford coming on the bench, there's Anton Griezmann. And we'll see like a neutralization of what the teams do. I mean, France, if their back line is engaged, it's a very, very like solid like back line. When you're looking at the likes of Varane and Hernandez and Koundé playing in that back line. Notice I missed out Upamecano because both teams have a weak link. Upamecano isn't a great defender. He's not in great form. And Harry Maguire, he's good for England, but if he carries his Manchester United form over here, then that's different. And if you look at the people that England have played against, this ain't Christian Pulisic now. This is Kylian Mbappe. So this is a very different type of player to deal with if you get 1-on-1 with him and whatnot. So yeah, I'm worried about the matchups that we face, but I believe that because we know that what he can do to Stones and Maguire pace wise, you're going to see Henderson and Rice and even Bellingham thinking a lot more defensively. You're not going to see the Jude Bellingham that just springs forward and joins in the attacks. Everybody's going to be worried about what everybody's doing here. And especially if this player here in France, Griezmann, if he's replaced in this position and he's not encouraged to join in the attacks, and they put Camavinga here as another defensive player to match up what England do, then you're really going to see like a game of chess.
I do like the way he got a neg in on Christian Pulisic. His name is Killian. If we're you know.
So your best bet for this game, Billy, under 2.5. Is that what I'm hearing? It seems like Billy's likes
excited
France,
for the game.
but he can't give out.
Well,
France.
it's like Sean. If you like the Cowboys, you would maybe talk around it like this, but you wouldn't actually pick them.
I'm a true patriot for our boys over in England. Plus 205 in 90. Ryan, give us your bet.
All right. So as you were spending so long to explain your handicap of the game, Sean, I went and dug up some props here. I do think, I mean, maybe I think France is the bet. I think maybe this is a classic battle, and Billy isn't saying it out loud because it probably hurts him to say it, but it seems like France maybe owns them. And it sounds like that a bunch of grown men are going to go on the field and be like, ooh, look, it's Kylian Mbappe, like it's fucking Mickey Mouse. And that scares me, because as a people, you're mentally defeated like that. If the fans are mentally defeated like that, Billy's worried about this game. I sense it. He's very excited, very excited, but he understands where the pain is coming. This Mbappe cat though, Russell Wilson. We wrote down Russell Wilson, and I think I added Russell Westbrook. The Russells. I can't bet on that, Sean. I'm with you, but the way this is the ultimate narrative stuff, this game does go to penalties.
Oh wow, okay. What's that prop?
England to advance on penalties is 8-1. It
8-1.
seems to be a standard price.
Billy, final bet for England versus France. What do you got?
I think it'll go under. I think under 2.5 goals. Like I know this manager. We've looked like one of the best teams in the tournament so far. But suddenly, like, we'll come up against France, and these three players, especially in the center. I mean, the fact is that if you look at the way that the game played out against Senegal, England even gave too much respect to them. England scored 2 goals late on in the half. Again, which and the first goal was probably against the run of play, because Senegal actually should have scored first. So in terms of like how these three players will set up, by nature, these are all holding midfield players. So there's no Mason Mount, there's no Jack Grealish, there's no James Maddison. These are all players that are in the squad, and these are all players that play in this front position here. These players should be much closer to Harry Kane. So already, as soon as knockout football started, he changed what he was doing in the group stage. We didn't see Mount. We didn't see this attacking midfield player. We saw this very energetic 18-year-old Bellingham in the. I think he might be 19 now. Or let's say 18. 18-year-old Bellingham in this position in front of the two holding midfielders, and we saw Rice and Henderson doing their thing. These are not attack-minded midfield players. So what you have here in this team is you have a back four and you have 3 defensive-minded midfield players, and then Harry Kane and the 2 attackers up front. England are looking to win this game on the counter-attack. And France are also looking to win this game on the counter-attack. So I just think the under is the best play. And you wouldn't think it from the talent on the pitch, but tactically, as I said, they're just going to be too worried about what each other have. So yeah, I think it'll go under.
All right. Now time
I feel like I should switch my pick to France. No, stay strong.
Stay strong, Ryan. All right. What's your for this whole slate? What is your lock? For me, I'm just gonna keep it simple. Argentina to advance at -160. But Billy, what is your favorite bet of the quarterfinals?
Oh, I think I have to go with Portugal money line. I just think that there's so many betting angles here. But one of them is the cup final. The cup final's already won. You always see that. You know, it's like if the Giants beat the Eagles this week, they're not going to win next week. So like that, it's that kind of thing. So they beat the team who they wanted to beat the most. You saw all their supporters in the crowd and what it meant to them. They have 120 minutes in their legs in a very, very short tournament. You have like the big angle with Portugal now dropping Ronaldo. They have a point to prove. If they keep winning, Ronaldo doesn't touch the grass. Yeah. If they keep winning, Ronaldo doesn't get on the pitch, right? So that's
really their motivation. Yeah, no, I really like that one as well. And when you say money line, does that mean to advance, or is that win in 90?
That's 90. Money line's 90 for us.
Okay. Kramer.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you parlay Brazil and Portugal to win in 90, it's plus 135.
Okay.
That to me, because I mean, like Billy said, Portugal feels. If I'm picking one game as the lock of all locks, I'm with Billy. It's Portugal.
All right. Portugal.
There's also another bet I like, which
sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you have it there, but you can bet players to score. But I like Mbappe not to score.
Okay.
Not to score in this game, because there'd be so much focus. Stop him. Get 2 players on him. Let's use 2 players. Let's waste Bellingham's energy, and let's waste like Kyle Walker as well. I feel like this will open up the game for other people from France to find space. But I believe this guy is going to be heavily marked out the game. I mean, and that bet wins after 90 minutes. So if you find that wherever you bet like that, that's another way to go.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring this up. So I was trolling around the props, and you can bet on like player to score, team to win type stuff. You can also, Sean, bet on, and they offer like goal, no goal markets, but you can also bet on to score a goal and lose.
Oh, okay.
And because of the counter correlation, so a player to score and win for someone like Harry Kane maybe is 4-1, but for Harry Kane to score and for them to lose is 12-1. You see what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
So if you think any of these games could be higher scoring, maybe a fun way to throw out some props. But now that I've tripped into them, I'll also maybe I'll tweet out some first goal scoring props.
Oh, stumble into those. I'm just Argentina to advance, and then Portugal in 90. Billy really sold me with the overtime. And Morocco kind of won their Super Bowl. Billy, always appreciate you coming on the show. Make sure you follow Billy on Twitter at SGP Soccer, and subscribe to the Soccer Gambling Podcast on Spotify. Tons of picks there. He's got you covered throughout the entire year. Tons of footy, and definitely worth the subscription. Toss him a nice rating and review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green, and he is Ryan.
Sean, I hear we're going to be back in the studio shortly talking about college football.
Stay tuned. Kramer, let it ride.